Okay, I think we're live. So this is the implementation time for Arcane Architect. We're going to go through and take a problem that we're working on this week, talk about how we discovered it was a problem, how we researched a way to solve it, and hopefully come up with a solution. That's usually the part that we'll work on during the stream. I'm a professor of computer science. My students call me Dr. B, and we're going to talk about a problem that we encountered this week. So my research students were working on creating a finite state machine to describe how a character would, what animation a character would use in different situations. And we're starting to get a lot going on here. And the thing that we were worried about was we were going to get a lot more happening, right? There might be 30, 40 different actions, each having its own animation. So the rest of this has been handled pretty well. The problem is that as we have to keep adding more and more to this, this is going to become more and more complex. To make this a little bit more difficult, we also have 10 separate characters. And in our previous iteration, each one of those would have to have their own specific sets of animations. And the reason for that is because each of them has its own skeleton. So we were trying to figure out how could we possibly use some inheritance on the graph here, and we hit a couple of snags there, and we were wondering to ourselves, is that the right way to spend our time, right? Should we be trying to figure out how to work around the fact that they all have different skeletons, or should we do some work to get them all to have a unified skeleton so that we can build this once instead of having to copy it for each person, each character? So that was the point where we kind of decided, well, what if we took the skeletons and we moved them directly to the Unreal Engine mannequin, right? Kind of like the default skeleton. And so if we look at our character, we're basically saying that we would have these bones uh, just show up for everything. Let's see if I do the mesh skeleton tree. Yeah. So we've got this skeleton. Our female character has stuff for their skirts. So this is extra geometry that we wouldn't expect in our other characters. If we take a look at the male character, and look at their skeleton, we see that they have things for their cloak. And then to make that even more complicated, the female wizards call their cloak a mantle, even though it's the same thing. But because the bones have different names, it's going to cause some issues. So this was where we left off, and the solution that we came up with was we should move everything to that Unreal Engine mannequin. So as we went and looked, I did my research, and I found there was this package called UEFY2, UEFI. And basically, it's a plugin for Blender that allows you to get your rigging right. Get all the animation stuff, the armature correct, so that when you bring it into UE4, it should work. And so I studied that for a little bit. It was kind of a late night, so I went on and slept on it. And I think I came up with a different idea. Rather than convert everything to the mannequin, I was going to convert everything to just this female wizard skeleton because we've got a lot of overlap. We already have a lot of these pieces set up the way that they should be, and those pieces are similar to all of these characters. The other thing that I played with a little bit is I discovered that most of our animations aren't animating that skirt, and they're not animating the capes. Those are just bones to kind of keep those meshes, right? This cape portion of the mesh and the part of the skirt away from the body. So they just kind of provide a structure. So as the rest of them moves around, those things can hang off the back, and it shouldn't cause us a big issue. So that was going to be a lot easier for us to work with. And the way that I went about it is I started by grabbing one of these characters. And let's go in and grab our female wizard. So what I needed to do is I needed to export that character so I could bring it back in and reintroduce a new skeleton. And weirdly enough, you can't go down here, right click, and tell it to export. The only way that I found to do it is to click on the map, and then we can go over here to File, we can export the selected, and we're going to go on and create this for our female wizard. Okay, so we've got all this stuff, we can save it. And as a sanity check, what we're going to do is we're going to try to re-import that same character back and see if that works. And it turned out that this was a pretty major issue for us. So I need to open this over here, and I'm going to create a new folder. We're going to call this combined. And then I can drag this over. Now this is the reason that we have to import it again. We need to reintroduce the skeleton. And like I said, just for a sanity check, we're going to reintroduce the same skeleton that we had earlier. Okay, so this is the stylized wizard, female. Okay, that should be the right one. We'll import everything. And now we've got it all up. Now you're going to notice that it's got some issues with the textures, the materials. We'll get to that later once we get it working. But as I come over here to the skeleton, this is for the original female wizard. And I can change my preview mesh so that I'm looking at this new female wizard. Now you probably noticed that things look a little bit odd. We've got what looks like a hat and a book, a monocle, a whole bunch of pieces that were here before, and then we've got our character all the way off to the right. And there should be a button here that allows us to see the bones. There we go. So this is pretty weird. We've got the bones all the way over here. We've got the character over on the right. And there are some times when you'll have an animation rig where you have the bones off to the side. That doesn't seem to be very common in UE4. And when we look at the original, we didn't see that. Come on. Is it not going to do this now? Okay, it's not going to let me flip back. There we go. So for the original, we saw that the bones were in place. So what's going on here? I was worried that this was kind of a weird artifact of how it had gotten imported or how I was exporting it, because I purchased this as an asset. I don't have the original files. So what had happened is that when it creates that FBX file, it's remembering the offset it had from the world. So if we flip back to our female mesh, that character that we imported, or exported rather, is this far away from the origin of the world. And so the skeleton stayed at the origin, the other thing kind of moved, and it did a weird thing in between there. So I was wondering if there was a way to fix that. I haven't seen it myself, but I did figure out how to avoid that. So what I can do is I can come over here and let's see, I can pop a new person in, and I can go and clear their location. So now they're at 0, 0, 0, no rotation, no scales. When I do the export now, and we'll just export it right into place. And then I should be able to go and reload this. So let's see, re-import. We'll see if this works. There we go. So now we see that the skeleton's in the right position, and we can play with the animations as well. So let's see, once again, we want to make sure that we're using our new wizard. Okay, so we've got our new wizard. We can tell the wizard to jump. And we see that the animation's tracking. Now this shouldn't be a surprise because we're basically taking that same character, pulling it out, and then pulling it back in and reintroducing that skeleton. What we need to do is to make sure this works for our other pieces as well. We also need to worry about fixing that hat. There's something weird going on there. Okay, so let's go on and close the other tabs. And we're going to do the same process, except we're going to do it now with the male wizard. So I'm going to, let's browse to asset. We'll pull another one up here. We're going to remember to reset all of our location back to 0 before we export it. So file, export selected, and we're going to call this male wizard. And we export. Okay, so now we're going to go and bring this back. Here's our male wizard, and we're going to now set it to that female wizard skeleton. Our hope is that they're close enough that we can get this to work. This is the one that we want. Okay, so let's go take a look at our male wizard. So our male wizard is looking pretty good. We've got our skeleton, we've got everything in place here. I want to check those animations, because if the animations aren't going to work, then this is kind of a waste of the time, right? So let's go take a look at the animation. I'm going to switch this to our preview mesh. Okay, so let's have them do their attack. It was a pretty slow attack, but I think that was what it's supposed to look like. There we go, that's a fast attack. How about a sprint? Run. And there are some things that could be an issue. It does look like we have there's a lot of leg crossing, a lot of hip sway here. So this is a female animation that's running. So we probably will have to do some work with changing some of these to be male animations to kind of work with the biophysics of the characters. But we're in pretty good shape in those parts. So what I'd like to do now is take a look at how do we get that character looking more like that character again. So I'm going to come over back to the skeleton. We're going to change the mesh back to the male wizard. And we've got lots of stuff going on here. We've got this, this hat that's showing up kind of in the wrong spot here. So let's see, here's the hat socket, there's the hat, and I'm not sure what is going on here. That hat should be a lot taller, right? And there's probably a couple of things going on with this. Okay, well, let's try to fix it together. So this is kind of the parts that we're here to fix. Actually, let's get the mesh because it's a little easier to solve. We basically are just going to go and replace these materials. They didn't export with the FBX, so we can go in and just load them back. So, did not mean to press that. Try this again. Male head. Okay, good. And male head whiz right there. So we've got our face back. Male cloth 02. Go, got him some pants. No cloth 01. Just gotta find it's the priest. There's the wizard. Okay, so we've got their character back to how we were hoping it would be. Now we got to figure out why the hat and possibly the hair aren't going where they should. Okay, well, let's go back to our skeleton. Oh, well, there's our first problem is we mapped this to the male instead of the female. Okay, well, let's go fix that first. Male wizard. Re-import. Nope, it's not going to let me fix this. So I'm going to delete this. Go on and delete this as well. And delete that as well. Okay, we're going to try to re-import this again. Apparently didn't hit the right skeleton. So I want to make sure that I hit the female skeleton. Stylized wizard, characters, meshes, female. Yes. Okay. Let's double check and do our proofs of concepts. So once again, the skeleton showed up just fine. We're going to make sure that we're on the right skeleton. Yep, so this is the female skeleton. We look, here's the male wizard. This is looking a lot better. Double check our animation. We can tell it that we want to look at the male wizard, and then we can see if they do a sprint, a walk, and here we see that the hips are really swaying. So we'll have to go and retarget the male animation to get that to work. Oh, okay, that's apparently an attack. There's a much better attack. Okay. Well, let's go and get this mesh outfitted again. We just got done doing this, but we can do it again. So we need the male head wizard. We need the male cloth 02. We want the male wizard. And then we're going to do the male cloth 01. Let's see, it's priest, stylized wizard, male. Okay, looks like we're in good shape as far as this goes. We'll head back to our skeleton. And what's happened here is our sockets aren't working for us. And the problem is if I go in and I change a bone, it's going to break it for the female wizard. So I kind of need to tweak it just for the male, and then leave the female wizard alone, and I can do that by retargeting the skeleton a little bit. So if I come over to options, I can have it show me the retargeting options. And then I can come back and find these sockets. Where are the sockets? There's a hair socket right here. So right now the hair is not sitting on top of the head. That's an issue. So I'm going to start by doing a rotation. And let's see, this is my around the Y. So I think if I do a 90, nope, a negative 90. Okay, and this is for the hat socket. We need that socket to be a little higher as well. Yeah, I can do this. So we're going to go on and switch it to this, and pop it up to where it needs to be. And then we'll do the same thing with the hair socket. We need a negative 90. And looks like we're in good shape there, so I'll go on and leave it. Or let's bring it up just a touch. No, we were good. We'll just reset our location to 0. That looks good to me. Might want that hat socket just a little bit lower now. Okay. Now, the wand is not where it needs to be. Oh, let's make sure that we didn't destroy the female wizard. Mesh. Skeleton. Preview mesh. This is the male wizard. It's the female wizard. Okay, doesn't seem to be terribly unhappy with me. Okay, looks like we're in good shape. Well, let's head back to our mesh. It's feeling a little bit weird. But if it's going to let me do it, I think we'll want to go with it. So there's the male wizard. And we've got everything that we need. Let's just double check the animation. Okay. And then we look at the skeleton, bounce back over to the female wizard. Okay, I really want the staff and the book to show up in a better spot here. So let's see if we can go and work with those sockets now. We've got a book socket, and then let's play with the wand socket first. So this will probably require a little bit of fine tuning. I'm wondering, yeah, it's just messed up for both the male and the female at the same time. So should be able to fix those. Okay. So here's our wand. I'm going to go on and grab that, pull that back. I think I want to rotate it just a little bit. Back down. Okay, that might do it. And when you're manipulating things in 3 dimensions, it's always good to look at it from different perspectives. I'm going to also tell it to stop showing me the bones. Character, bones, selected only. Good. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And then I think I want to check it from the right. Okay, back from the bottom. Let's look at it from the back. I guess we'll need to check from the right, the left. Okay, we're looking good here. Let's go take a look at the animation. That's looking pretty nice. Okay, let's try this again. It's not bad, but it looks like it needs to be angled just a little bit more when those fingers curl around it. So I think I'm going to go and tweak that just a touch. Let's get a front view, back view. Get the rotation going. Let's see if I can get 15 in there. Let's see if I can get negative 15 in there. There we go. So I just want it to be a little more bent there. It seemed that that's kind of what it was wanting. Let's take a look at that animation again. I think I went the wrong direction. So I went up. I probably should go down a little bit more. About negative 12. I'm supposed to do negative 10, see how that does it. Okay. And let's take a look at that animation again. Yeah, I'm getting worse. Okay, how do we need to go find that socket? It's the one socket. Okay, I've got that in the crook of the hand. Let's look at the animation now. Okay. So it looks like it can go just a little bit more firmly up in the crook. And how does that play? It looks good there. We need it to go closer to the palm. Let's try bottom. Left. Yeah. And unfortunately, I really wish I could move the pivot of this object so that I could get it right in the middle. That would make this a lot easier. I wonder if there's a way to change your pivot. There is in Blender. I don't know if there is over here. Okay, let's try to do some rotations again. Okay, so I think I want just 5. Yeah, we'll try that. And then we can also look from the right and the animation. a little bit better. I think I'm going to go on and leave it for now. If it works, then it's something that I'll come back and work with more. And if it doesn't work, then I will have not wasted all that time. Okay, we'd like that book to rotate a little bit better. So let's work on the book now. Let's see, can I... Male wizard, female wizard. Well, I happen to have a copy of the female wizard, so let's go and look at the copy and figure out what they were thinking about. Okay, so they just had the end of it right there. So I think just getting the fingers on it's what they originally planned. There's also a monocle on the eye that we're going to have to work with. Okay, back to the skeleton. We can go ahead and preview this mesh with... Oh, I've angered the computer gods. Yep, so this is something with Unreal Engine 4.27. It tends to flake out a little bit. Well, we're going to go on and save all this. And then we will open it back up. So yeah, we'll get the book done, and then we'll try a couple other models, and then we will probably call it a day. Or we'll call it the end of the stream at least. Okay. I'll just reopen it myself. So we have our stylized character pack combined. Got the male wizard right here. And I've got our skeleton. We're going to go back to the male wizard for our preview. And let's work on this book. So I need that socket, SK book socket. I'm wondering if I change this socket, the socket doesn't seem to have any effect. This one does. Okay. Let's pull you in a little bit better. Let's just see what that does on our animation. And we've got the book kind of awkwardly positioned there. And let's look at our attack. I'm okay with this. Let's do a run. Okay, let's make sure that our mail works. Okay, we're going to go on and leave this for now. And now we need to go get another character. I just want to make sure that it'll work across the different characters since each pairing was released as a separate set. They have slightly different skeletons between them. So I want to make sure it's going to work for all of them before we declare victory. So go to Map, Overview. And let's go grab this character right here. So it's the male stylized priest. We've been using them as like teacher characters in Arcane. So I need to right click, browse, pop one up here, zero it out, and now we can export it. We're going to call this male priest. Wondering. Okay, we'll export that. Back up here to common or combined. And we'll put my stuff in the right place here. Male priest, in we go. Once again, we're going to go and use that female wizard from the stylized wizard, yes. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Got the male priest. And we're going to go to character. We'll turn on their bones. The bones are in the right spot. If we look at the animation, switch our thing to the male priest. That's looking pretty good. Let's look at the sprint and the run. Okay. Not bad. Well, let's go get this decorated a little bit better. We need a head. There we go. Now cloth 01. And let's see, this is the wizard. Wizard. Bind. Stylized priest. There we go. Okay, let's take a look back at their animation. Okay, so we've got some issues with the book and the wand. We're going to go on and just let those happen for the moment. Is there a way to slow this down? Not bad. Okay. Well, we've got the male priest. I think we should probably go on and hit the rest while we're at it. Okay, this is getting pretty exciting. Okay, well now it's just kind of grunt work. We've got 7 more characters to go, and once all those 7 characters are in, we should have a unified skeleton for all of them to work with. So barring anything crazy happening, this should just be kind of some smooth sailing. Let's see, let's first get rid of him and him. Great, so put the female priest in, clear this out. I'm going to go export the selected. Female priest. Yeah, that'll work. I am going to have to spend some time getting rid of these materials that aren't being used. So we're going to go and kill them. That's going to complain about them, so we'll leave them for now. Female priest. Looks good. Let's double check this with female priest. Told it to pause, didn't I? Female priest appears to be just fine. Let's go on and fix the mesh. And this is the wizard. That's the priest. Great. Okay. Default material 2, huh? I'm not familiar with this one. Looks like it's something to do with their pants, though, doesn't it? Well, let's go to our original. And this is just the same. Yep, they just use a material twice, so I think they've got a separate part of that same material to help out. Okay, so didn't need it over here, but we need it for the female priest. Okay. Female cloth 01. Stylize priest, there we go. That looks good. Save it. Close those tabs to the right. And the other two that we're using presently are the thieves that we use for stand-in for staff. So browse to the asset, bring that in, zero it out. File, we will export selected thief. Male thief. Export that, and while we're here, let's go in and grab the female thief. Zero them out, and export that. Okay, back to combined. Female thief. We want that wizard. Wizard. There we go. as well hit the other one while we're here. We need the male thief. I'm going to rename this while I've got it in front of me. Stylized. Okay. Import that one as well. So now we can jump over to female thief. Let's once again take a look at the animation. Okay, looks good. And while we're at it, we'll go and check out male thief. Barely see any difference, so looks like we're in good shape for both of these. Let's go fix the meshes. So this is the female thief. I need cloth 01. Female thief. Looks good. Female head. Thief. Need cloth 02. And let's see, that's the wizard thief. Okay, look good. Let's go change the mesh and find the male thief. Male clothes 02. What do we got here? Stylized thief, instance material male. Looks good. Male head thief. And I need the male clothes. One. Stylized thief. There we go. Okay. Well, we have all of them set up. We are in a pretty good position. I think what I'd like to do is just a little bit of a sanity to check if all of that's actually working. Okay, so we're going to go to the person generator and we'll swap out some of these new values for them. Let's first make sure we save everything. Also need to get rid of these as well as these. They do not do anything. Okay. So where's persons, person generator? I think generate person, generate student, person, student appearance seed. Pop these over to here, and now I can say male wizard, and we can now still use the ABP female stylized wizard. Let's double check. This is in stylized wizard. Stylized wizard. Okay. Go get the maps reset. And let's generate some students. Okay, we've got Jaden, Rob, Will, Gabby. Okay. So we're gonna have to play with that a little bit more. Notice that Gabby's got that idle movement going, and Rob should have his idle movement working if it can work with the same piece. But apparently it does not at the moment. So I think that's gonna be the next thing that we need to go figure out, is why does that not do what we'd hoped? Game BP. Stylized wizard. Blueprints. Okay. This back online just a tiny bit. So we've got everything going on here. I'm wondering how tightly wound is it to a particular piece here. Let's go find Mill Wizard. Well, it thinks that they're all connected, which is helpful for us. And we are definitely dealing with the male character. Okay, I've got a preview mesh. So I put this back on Mill Wizard. There's my blueprint. I can change my preview mesh to Mill Wizard. And it's handling it just fine. The question for us is why? And let's put some beds in, or just the beds. But what I'm seeing is that the animation's not, it's not pulling that animation out. Whereas if we had a female student, we would see them actually do a running action. Okay. So we're kind of at our same problem, but we do know that they all share a skeleton. And that was the problem set before us. So I need to do some more research and figure out why my character here is not using the ABP properly. And I really should have done it. Okay, well, it'll give me something exciting to do later on. I'm going to go on and close up the stream. So hope that you got something out of it, and I'll see